Uh, At the last meeting, Mr. Gustafson brought up a situation that Mr. Lilly's there, with regards to metering water. Well, to regress a little bit, in like, when was it, 2017 and 16, there was some question raised by how the meters were applied, because when you had multi-use structures, for example, the senior center over here, it's got, I think, 23 apartments, and each one pays $23 as a readiness to serve.
The terrace.
Or
The terrace.
the terrace, yeah, the terrace, excuse me. Whereas you have other multi-use structures in the township that only pays one readiness to serve. And if you look at your schedule for charges for water, this schedule is based on a per unit charge. So in the case of the terrace, there's 23 units, so they pay 23 times 23. If you look at most of the bars, if not all of them in the valley, they have an apartment attached. They have the bar room, and in some instances, they have a hotel. But uniformly, they all pay only one readiness to serve charge. From my recollection in the past, you have Grawlix up here where Minneapolis used to live, and there's a couple apartments in that one structure. But in accordance with your rules and regulations, each apartment pays a readiness to serve charge. So in 2016, when this was brought to your attention, and the ongoing discussions, one of your board members checked with the solicitor. Now, in 2019, well, the conclusion there was not to do it. As a matter of fact, there was a motion on the books to charge all bars multiple readiness to serve charges. In 2019, I put in an open records request, which Sharon addressed. It was asked to see the correspondence related to the opinion of the solicitor, because the minutes showed the solicitor was satisfied with what's being done. Well, in response to that request, there was nothing in writing. So first of all, when you go to your solicitor for an opinion, you should always ask for a letter back. So you aren't relying on word of mouth from somebody else on the board acting in the board's behalf. Now, ultimately, as I said, the board at one point approved assigning multiple readiness to serve charges to these multi-use structures. When that came up for a vote, to rescind that, Jeremy Rippey abstained, but yet he participated in the discussion. So he should have recused himself from any discussions related to this matter. And I did look for the open records request I put in. Sharon responded to it, and I'm sure it's on file if you want to verify that. But, I mean, I see in the correspondence, there was a letter submitted about Mr. Lilly. If you're going to go down this road, and it's required by law that authorities in the Commonwealth have uniform rates, so you can't pick and choose which person we're going to have two readiness to serve charges and which other parties are only going to pay one, even though by law they probably should be paying two. And in your rules and regulations, it defines a unit. And it says the final determination of a unit shall be made by the authority. But any determination made at the local level has to be in compliance with the Municipal Authorities Act, and that is clearly stated in the Act. So, I guess to summarize, yes, I recommend whenever you go to the solicitor, get whatever he recommends in writing. Don't go by word of mouth from somebody else. And the second thing, if we're going to have a look at this, I would suggest this board look at your whole customer base, not just Mr. Lilly. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Christine. connection with what Bob just said, I remember that. And the authority spent a lot of money at the time to have their attorney research the regulations. And the end result was, the attorney said their regulations were okay. And as Bob just stated, what he said is actually in your regulations. But a little while after that, I said to the board, you know, there was only one question you really had to ask your attorney. And that was, are we implementing our regulations? And that was a simple answer, and the answer was no. And when I brought that up at the meeting, the chairman at that time said, we spent enough money on an attorney, and we're not spending any more money on attorneys. Of course, the board at that time never said anything, and there was no vote. It's just the chairman that said, we're not spending any more money on this issue, and it's a dead issue. But I have three other things. And I don't see it on the agenda. A while back, you said one of your former employees owed, I believe it was about $1,000 reimbursement for training. And in January, you had your attorney, I believe the attorney was gonna send the former employee a letter. Is that done?
Not yet, no.
From January 10th, it hasn't been done yet?
We talked to him, it hasn't been done yet.
He wanted us to wait until some other things got settled with that. The unemployment hearing.
Well, if this person is one of the applicants to be on this board, I think maybe one or more of you would wanna let the supervisors know that this is an outstanding issue because they haven't made an appointment yet. The second one, was it the last, I guess it was at the supervisor's meeting, Joe, you had those pictures that were on Facebook. First of all, I don't do Facebook. I have nothing to do with Facebook. But you had some pictures you circulated that someone had taken photographs of the water
Or
treatment
sensitive equipment
plant
and systems, yes,
and had put it on Facebook.
for the world to see.
Not that you have to mention any names, but did you identify that person, and if so, are you gonna take any action on it?
Well, we have identified the person, it's in the hands of law enforcement, we're looking at different avenues right now.
Okay. Okay, that's, okay, and, one other thing. There was a statement at a supervisor's meeting, and there was some discussion. All you people do is raise our water rates. It's a shame that that person doesn't come to these meetings, because then they could ask you people questions and you'd get the right answer, but to make a statement like that when they don't know what you're talking about, you're raising the water rates all the time. Last time, you raised it 9 cents, a whole 9 cents, so that works out, if you use the minimum amount of $9,000, 9,000 gallons a quarter, it's a whole 81 cents. I think that's just something that sometimes you should put it in your information there. People don't know that, but unfortunately, they don't come to these meetings. But the other thing I wanted to ask you, Patrick, another thing that's important when you people do this 2% increase, if you're gonna do it, when you do your operations report, what do you think about putting the cost to process and treat 1,000 gallons of water in your operations report. I think that, more information is sometimes better than not enough, and I think that's something that the people,
Yeah, we would make Excel possible, we can do that fairly easily.
like about, I know this was quite a while ago. It was $2 and something. Do you know about what it is right now?
I don't know off the top of my head, normally, the surface water plant like this normally is around like $2.80 1,000. So yeah, that's probably where we were back in 2017.
But I think do you think it's a good idea? I think it'd be good information to put in that report.
Especially if we're talking about raising at least once per year, calculate it to see where we're at
Yeah,
and announce it.
it helps
Agreed.
people to understand why we're gonna raise it a whole 9 cents, 1,000 gallons. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Christine, a lot of them can't comprehend that 9 cents, it doesn't work out right in their head for them.
And
You have to cost increase every year.
that's the point she's making. A lot of them don't come to
That's
the
right.
meeting to understand.
Mm.
They just think, oh no, there's a water increase. But if you look at it, it's 9 cents. And then my other argument was, everybody's spreading that we're doing increases, That 2% increase was voted on 5 years ago for the next 5 years. We're honoring the wishes of the previous board.
Which
So-
would be the previous chairman.
Yeah, so we're going down, we're catching flack because of them. And-
Well, yeah, it's not flat.
Yeah,
It was a sensible thing to do, and it was recommended by the Pennsylvania Rural Waters Association. If you have something, a big major break, whatever, you need thousands of dollars, would you like us to increase it $5 1,000 gallons?
No, it's
To make the money we need,
it's
or
better to have that
how
reserve.
about 9 cents
You're absolutely
Like
right,
a year.
Christine.
So, it makes total sense.
Mhm.
And I think doesn't that go into some of that goes into your, 30 cents goes into your capital improvement account, I
I
think?
did read something some time ago about that.
It's
Wasn't
supposed to
like that.
be.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons it was raised a while back. 30 cents was, I think for each 1,000 gallons, it's supposed to go into capital improvement. Something like that. Yeah, you wanna look it up, because you're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
That's all, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. We'll move on to, approval of the agenda. We need to add, number 11, tap fee under old business. And under new business, we need to add number 4, bank credit card. And number 5, executive session following this meeting tonight.
And the matter to be discussed in executive session.
Former employee matters, employment contract discussion.
Goes for again.
Bank credit card.
Bank credit, yes, sir.
Mhm. Okay, so we will move on to approval of the minutes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of number 11, tap-on fee, on old business, new business, number 4, bank credit card, and an executive session prior to adjournment of the meeting for employment contract discussion regarding, former employee matters.
You can have a second, please.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Alright.
Okay, approval of the minutes from February 6th, 2020.
there any questions on the minutes from our auditor?
And I haven't approved them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 6th, 2020 regular meeting.
And I'll second that motion, Patrick.
All in favor? Aye.
Alright,
Aye.
Rick was out for a while, we wanted to see if he was on call.
Sure. Rick, did you have comments, or visitors' comments, because
Yeah, obviously.
you were out for a fire call?
Just a couple of things, I know, as far as like some of these pictures and stuff that was posted on social media, I think the board should have something set up where no photos are allowed to be taken in a plant, unless it's something like, say, use taken and put in a file, Sharon files them. But I mean, far as anybody's personal cell phones, we shouldn't take any.
I agree.
I mean, that's something that's, you know, overall,
It's in their contracts that they're not supposed to do that.
Even
They
outside,
knew better, but they did it
even
anyway.
outside of contracts, we have employees that may never enter into a contract, I agree with Rick.
Yeah, you should have, put it in your regulations or your, however your things are. And, I don't know if you're gonna, is anything on the agenda about the paving bill from the township? Is that on your agenda tonight? Okay, I'll wait till then. That's all, thank you.
Okay. Treasurer's report, Shannon?
The balance in the checking as of 1/31/2020 was $66,326.37. Total deposits was $99,163.33. Total accounts payable was $51,631.26. Bank as of 2/29 was $113,858.44. Balance in savings account as of January was $225,756.21. The balance in savings account as of 2/29 was $245,893.32.
Thank you,
Excellent numbers, thank you, Sharon.
Okay, move on to approval of the bills.
In the bills, we had accounts payable was $51,631.26. Out of that, $20,000 was transferred to savings.
Okay, thank you, Sharon.
You do approve that one.
I needed a motion to approve the bills. I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second the motion.
I'm abstaining due to my payroll.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence. The first thing is, a letter from Francis Gustafson on Keith Willie's water service to his garage. Well, that was already, touched on by, Mr. Coppell.
Excuse me, Deb, if I could elaborate on that a little bit. Myself and Patrick did go down to Mr. Lilly's. We did investigate that matter. His water meter is in properly, everything's wired up, it is not tampered with. He actually has a newer iPearl in it. The line that goes to Mr. Lilly's garage is after his meter, so whatever goes to that garage is being billed accordingly the way it should be. So
We confirmed that by running water in the garage as
yes,
well.
we shut the valve off to the garage, no water flowed through the garage, we eliminated every aspect, everything is to our satisfaction, is legal when properly functional.
Thank you. So, Mr.
Does it go through the house?
Yes.
Yeah,
It goes through the house,
it
that's
goes
legal,
It goes through the house,
that's legal.
that's his own it's his garage, it's not
It's a
legal.
business, it's
Okay.
separate.
Okay,
Well,
you're
step-
gonna open up a can of worms with that,
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
Let's,
if
hold on,
we
hold
gotta
on.
meter him, we're gonna go to every hotel, and each room will have a
Let's step
meter.
back a second, because that's for the board to decide.
Yeah.
Justin and I did our jobs, we confirmed that the garage and the house are properly metered. We're not talking about readiness to serve right now. That's not the comment he was making. The garage is properly metered, the house is properly metered. All water to the garage goes through a meter. All water through the house goes through a meter.
No readiness to serve for business.
That's to discuss now, but that's not the comment he was making.
Okay,
That's not his thing to make.
If I may, since Mr. Gustafson wrote you a letter, this could probably come up again another time.
Mhm.
I suggest the board respond to him, not only verbally, but in writing. Just a suggestion.
Alright,
His letter is, questions and answers. It's not really, I mean, the first thing he asked was, about Mr. Lilly, but everything's, they want questions. And they have questions and he wants answers to each individual question, so it went into multiple.
There are a lot of if-then statements.
Well, but you answered his question with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
basic question
Yes,
that
ma'am.
needs answered, you answered here at the meeting, and we all heard it, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of letter you
My, I'm not gonna argue with him, he raises a good point, I think Justin and Bob have brought up good points with it. The board needs to, I recommend to the board we review the policies, we look at this, because he's right. Maybe he should be billed, maybe not, because we have some places that are billed for multiple units, we have some places that are not. If you do it for one, you gotta do it for them all. If you don't do it for one, you can't do it for them all. That's what Justin's saying by opening up a can of worms. We have another mechanic's garage in the valley, has a meter on his house and his garage. The way I understand that is because the house was there before the garage, the auto body or the auto shop.
The other way around.
Or, yeah, the other way around. So, that guy could come in and argue that he shouldn't have to pay for both. So, you're gonna take people off either way, but we need to review the policy, look at it, and see if we are doing it properly.
We've talked about this
And
before.
the question is, okay, is it separate businesses or separate structures?
that's right.
Because,
Otherwise, I'm gonna take it from one house to another.
right,
That's
and
what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna say it, maybe I shouldn't, there are people that are gonna watch your video that have separate garages. They're gonna have to.
It's
do
not
it
a
too.
business. If it's a business,
Right.
it's a different
Separate
identity.
structures or separate businesses?
That's right,
Because if you're charging for separate structures,
yeah.
then
If
if
it's
you
your
have a house
personal.
with a separate garage, then you need to bill both.
Mhm.
You have 3 houses that are separate addresses, they're currently billed all separately. They're not a detached garage, it has to be straightforward, and we do need to visit this.
Yes, you do.
So, it needs to be standardized.
So
And
it's nothing new that just happened, correct?
It's been
Or
going on
It's been
since
going
day one.
on for a very long time, Fran,
Mhm.
right?
I would say it has, yeah.
I mean, you were a supervisor, was it going on when you were a
I paid for upstairs and downstairs in my apartment building
Mhm.
till I made it one, then I had to separate it. So if it goes on, I'm connecting one house to another and pay one fee and put one bill. It's the same identity, same thing. It's different if it's your personal garage, then you could do it, but it's a separate identity, a separate business. So, check it out.
it has to be standardized.
So we need to uniform, we need to
You
uniform.
need to look at it, you need to really look at
Thank
it.
you for your correspondence, and we'll check into that.
Now, then,
And we'll send him a letter responding to that.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, when you have your discussion, part of your discussion is gonna be, is anybody grandfathered?
Right.
Or are we gonna start from here on?
a lot of these places that we're talking about have been on previous systems before Jay Township Water was in place. You had Burndale Homes, you had Leadville, you had Forest, it was all different. And
It's gonna
it was
be
back
messy.
in the day, which were all in place before JTWA was ever formed. How about it, Fran?
Well, you can't grandfather when you're billing one to the other. Bill's a bill. gotta make it uniform.
And we have to the tough part's gonna be determining where you draw the line. Is a residential separate structure fall under it or not? How do you define that? What if they have a hobby that they work out of their garage? It's not easy, it's not gonna be an easy task, but I think we have to look into it.
Maybe you can check with some other water authorities and see
Well, it's a matter of,
what
I'm
they do.
sorry, Kristen, I didn't mean to
No, go ahead.
It's a matter of the interpretation of your rules and regulations. That's where you gotta start, in my opinion. And I think rule number 8 says a lot, and I think the sheet meter sizes, what states per unit. Rule 8 defines a unit. So, I think that gives you a basis to start with. But I would say the intent here is, it's like, you know, you set a precedent here with the terrace over there. And that agreement, there's a separate agreement for the terrace, but it all falls back to Municipal Authorities Act. They have to be uniform rates. So, you know, a unit, it can be an apartment, a school, a unit is a hotel or a motel. So, you know, if I build a multi-use structure with a hotel inside of it, with a restaurant inside of it, an entertainment center or something, you know, I think we have to, they're separate units, each one could stand alone. So, and there's a lot of that, when you have entities with multiple units, but by themselves, they could also stand alone.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, you can have a structure with multiple units in it, for example, the terrace. But each unit in there can stand alone by itself. It would still have value and would still need water service just to exist on its own. But,
Yeah, how do we, like, is that, like, if a unit is empty, is it still, that unit still get a bill?
And there's another log in the fire.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
the water's shut off.
I don't know.
Well, we're talking
I'm
about
just
the
saying if the
radius
unit
to
itself is empty, most.
That is a 2-inch service going to that building, to the terrace, doesn't it?
It's either 1.5 inches or 2.
So I thought,
That's the case.
It's in the billing.
most people only have 3/4 of an inch
Does
line
anybody
feet in
know
their
what year
buildings.
the terrace was built?
There again, that was in the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've seen the agreement though.
Okay. They have an agreement.
They have an agreement with the water authority.
Okay. Okay.
That's a different piece of pie.
I guess the bad part is we'll be, I mean, it's not political, but we're gonna be the ones that take the fall for it, cause we're gonna be the bad guys, and then we'll have angry mob and everything, and there are gonna be a lot of people upset, but if we follow the policies, then that's just the way it is, and,
You have to do the right thing,
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna move on from, Mr. Gustafson's letter. And going on to number 2, and then we'll listen to what, Rick has to say about paving bill from Jay Township supervisors.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, you had, most of your board members did attend our last township meeting, and that was discussed, you know, about the bill the township sent to the water authority. We still, you know, 3 supervisors still agree we'd like to have that paid by the authority. Cause I think, I guess like I said, it was brought up where you said, well, you could put code patch in and do a quick, you know, all of that, you know, I don't wanna repeat everything that's been going on. But, I think next time, I'm sure it's gonna happen again, unless every time you go on the road, you're gonna bore. But if it's some setup we're gonna have to do, say, okay, we'll give you the right of way to dig the road, but you will pay for all repairs plus the cost to repave it. You know, even though that we're probably in neglect because we just gave you the okay to do it. We never even even had a bill, what it would cost, so. I don't know, speaking of township, I wish we decide to pay the bill.
Thank you.
I mentioned before, I think a lot of our issue was the way it was delivered to us.
Yeah.
We got an invoice, then we got a bill, and we're like, this is a shock. And I appreciate you made the comment, 3 agree that it should be paid. Prior to that, it came from one person.
Yeah.
That's not how
I mean,
things should be run.
I got a
That's not how-
copy of everything, the proposal, which
Yeah.
was signed by a certain supervisor on 10/31/19. Then I got Jefferson's bill that was, broke down separate for the water authority with the 2 patches, straight and all that, for the $6,080. And I have a copy of actually the invoice from the supervisor sent. But, I mean, I feel, we're all here to work together. We're gonna help you, you help us. I mean,
Rick, do you guys bid out, paving at the beginning of the year?
I mean, bid out ahead of time if we need it? No, we as needed, really.
Okay.
Cause that's what happened here. Jefferson was the only one that did come in and do a bid on it.
I just wasn't sure if there was any way that we could get the board a number, so whenever they are looking at this, it's kind of an expected cost.
Yeah.
So they can say, okay, well, the cut that we did is 80 square feet, the paving fee is gonna be approximately
Yeah,
this.
so we don't, I never did, I don't,
You can
did
actually,
past supervisors that ever,
well, we bought all the equipment to do it, but then it got
they
sold.
never left the yard.
Yeah,
The pavement,
all
the
the
pavement.
roller and everything, we went out and did all that, and cut the road, and did all that. We could, actually take and measure the road and do the, you can call either HRI or Hob Bakers, and they'll give you a price on blacktop. And then, say it's $30 a ton, we figure out the patch takes 5 ton, add an extra $1,000 to $1,500 for the company to come in and do it. So you can give a ballpark figure, it's not gonna be accurate, but
I guess that's kind of, that leads
Yeah, I
into what
mean-
I'd like to see, like,
I mean, you could do, say, just for instance, you're gonna cut Cleveland Street, just say, by the fire, just use that for example, okay, you wanna cut that, okay, we get in contact and have somebody, actually, it should be responsibility of the water authority to give the price of it, because you guys are digging it and replacing it. Then up front, it's gonna cost you $2,100.
yeah, that's kind of my next thing, like, it would be nice to see either the previous policy or a new policy drafted of what's expected of, do they want us to bid? Does the township wanna take care of it? What's the procedure? Rather than just how it was, a verbal.
Yeah, the way it
Word of
was
mouth.
actually done, because actually even Jefferson did our other problems, I mean, that's actually separate, broke down for the
Yeah.
township itself.
Well, that's the thing, I'm sure you guys definitely got a better rate whenever you had multiple projects instead of getting somebody in to repair.
Cause you probably, like, I'm just saying, like, say, so you do something this summer, just to do one little, maybe, how many square yards? You think Hall Baker's gonna send a crew in?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure if there was any way we could, like, again, if you would bid it out, so you had a number at the beginning of the year, but if you guys don't do that.
we don't know, we just actually, when we get to the bridge, we cross it then.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we can.
Yeah,
take
let
that
me-
consider.
It's
you
not,
have multiples in the summertime
yeah,
of blacktop guys that are running around.
Oh, yeah.
Multiples. At the end of the year, everybody puts their toys away.
yeah, I mean, even some of the little ones never even bid on it.
Yeah, they probably have their stuff put away.
Okay, now let me add to this, talk here, that in the past, for decades and decades, when the road was cut, it was always cold patched by the party that cut it, whether it be the township, the water company, or whoever, they would dig it out, compact it, and put the cold patch in and roll it in, and that was it. That's how it went for years and years, and then finally, after X amount of years, when the whole road needed repaved, then they would just do the whole thing again. But past practice, it was always, patched with cold patch. back in the day for
I was
decades.
under the same assumption that it was cold packed, and when we got the bill, it was, you know, I'm not saying anything about the supervisor, I'm not saying, I'm just like, I'm trying to understand this. So, if we could just get a policy together, if we can, if, you know, we're willing to do what we.
Oh, we are too on the, you know,
Okay.
as the township side,
Right.
I mean, we gotta work together, I mean, it's,
Exactly.
you know, it's just maybe the way it was handled,
Okay.
I think so.
It was
And
bad timing, it was really bad timing, and it looked like it was somebody coming
I
after.
mean, like I said, when we signed, you know, I think Victor was supervisor then, when we signed to give you the okay,
Mhm.
you know, it just said okay, didn't say you will absorb cost and everything, we didn't have all, if we took for granted, we wouldn't have a problem, you know, when the problem did arise.
Mhm.
Another thing I'd like to add too is whenever these, situations arrive, it depends on the time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of times you have to leave the area that was excavated settle for a period
Oh,
of time.
definitely.
Or else you're just wasting your time putting your asphalt or cold
Cold
patch
patch,
or
you
whatever.
know,
on.
cold patch won't hold up over time.
That's right.
At this point,
It
I'd
has to
recommend,
settle up before you do it right.
I would recommend to the board, there were, I think, 3 or 4 cuts. We did cut their road, we damaged their asset, we're responsible for repairing it, if that's what they want us to do. I guess the board, what I'm gonna ask is what does the board want Justin and I to do? I think it's in our best due diligence to, I mean, that's a lot of money. I think it's our best due diligence to confirm, okay, these are the cut sizes, this is the area. The comment was made at the meeting inappropriately. Oh, are you a paver now? No, but I know how to calculate square footage, square yards. It's math, it's area. One of the red flags to me was that corner. We cut 2 straight lines out, but that complete corner was patched where the road had broke up previously and was getting muddy. Before the road was paved, I measured the cuts, and according to my calculations, they were close, but they were a little off. So,
Yeah, it was a lesser amount.
To elaborate with that, whenever we went and looked at that, working with paving companies for numerous years, they did that properly. The way you showed me the cuts were, that berm, if they would've just patched what that was, that berm just would've been,
still would've fell apart.
would've ate away, so they fixed it properly. Myself, I would recommend paying it, get the supervisors, sit with you guys, and come up with an agreement. Let's move forward, like Rick said, let's work together.
I'd like the agreement before we pay it, can we do that, Rick?
2 weeks we have a meeting, so if somebody wants to come, and, you know, I'll mention to them prior to that.
Sure.
Like I said, you know, we can
Just
just
want
make a
something.
simple thing, say, you know, you're the authorized to cut certain wherever, but you will be liable for the pavement, you know, to repair or whatever, however you wanna state it.
Absolutely, okay, so we'll
You're
work
gonna look
together.
up your specs. I keep asking you guys.
But anytime
Look
I've,
up your specs.
anytime I've talked to the supervisors, they've just gone off PennDOT specs.
That's what we have. We already
Yeah.
adopted it years ago. It's
But
for,
when you hire
408.
a company to come in to do it,
it
they know
doesn't
what they
matter.
have to do.
It doesn't
Like I
matter.
said, we're not in the paving business, the supervisors are.
No, you're not, but we set up the specs for everybody, water, sewage, and township, under the PennDOT 408 spec, so everything that's dug gets put back under the 408
That
spec,
should
so.
be the way to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, keep saying, you guys, look it up, so you know what it is. And then you won't have these sinking issues under that spec.
That's 4-inch layers compacted.
Yes, it is.
And another 4-inch
They
compacted.
typically-
There's a formula to how to fix.
And you don't, yeah, you don't run into all that nuclear testing and everything when
No.
doing it this way, you're,
Typically, it's 3 inches of base, inch of top.
yeah, this is for the ditch line under coming up. The spec is for,
Well, the conversation.
Brian knows what it is.
Conversation's a good example. We know what's expected, but we don't know the spec, we don't know the details, so, I will make a motion to pay the bill in full, but I would request that the check is withheld until we discuss with the township if they could send us a policy reciting their spec, and put it in writing what's expected from now on.
See no problem with that.
I guess we'll,
So make the motion to pay the bill in full and hold until policy is in place.
So the motion's to cut the check, but don't release it.
right.
Okay. Move a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
And I don't think it'll take them long to, it's probably a one paragraph policy, so. Well, yeah, but if they,
Thank you for
if
your help with
if
that.
they cite the spec, that covers it.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Letter from Patrick Walkovich on his W-2, request. Sharon in the office, her office, received a request, a written request. I can't find it. Excuse me, I gotta find it.
I'm digging for it too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I was just gonna put that.
There it is, right there.
I don't,
There was a request, open records request for a copy of my W-2 for 2019. I responded, I sent an email to, the water office. I thought that was quite inappropriate because there's sensitive information on it. I searched the internet and lo and behold, I found an article. And according to the article, W-2s are confidential documents under federal law. So I sent the email saying I do not want my W-2 form released to the requester. I named the requester, or any others that may request it. Please file this email with the authority's February 2020 correspondence. And I'd like to note my final pay stub for 2019 was also requested, contains the same information, should fall under that same law.
A private individual?
Yeah, this is a frivolous request.
They've also asked for mine too today, so mine should be the same.
These people are just not thinking right, Christine.
I've also emailed the link that I found to the attorney and he supports us, he agrees.
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't
I
let
didn't-
it turn
I mean,
into
it's
that
public
question.
well, we said no, but we wanted to.
Well, we had to put in a request for legal review, and they also requested my hours and my pay and stuff, which, that's fine, that's open. If anybody wants to know how much I make, big what, anyone wants to know how many hours I put in during the year, big what. I do not want my social security number out there, I do not want my address out there, and they don't need to know how much money comes out of my pay for taxes, or Medicare, or social
On the
security.
same line.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
If they want that information about your hours and pay, they should come to the meeting.
Yeah, I disagree with the giving only W-2 form, there's sensitive information, we got too much pride going around to let that go.
Well, there will be no W-2s released to anyone.
It's settled.
That's the final version.
Should we make a motion on that?
No,
It's settled.
it's a federal protected
Yeah, federal.
document, there's nothing in motion.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to, delinquencies.
There was, 89 delinquencies sent out.
It's not Christmas.
They probably don't have that 9 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
9 cents
probably
didn't
too
take
often.
effect yet.
Okay, maintenance report.
Alright, February 2020 maintenance report provided by myself and Justin Arnold, 66,898 miles on the F-250. Responded to 111 call, checked facilities and buildings, plowed snow, installed some new meters in forest, hung sheeting in the corner of the well where the heater goes, mounted and wired the new heater at the well building, the new heater works good. Responded to a call about high usage. It was a meter pit. The meter pit was covered with styrofoam and then buried, allegedly by previous employees. We removed the dirt, 6 to 8 5-gallon buckets, and we checked the meter. The meter is spinning. There is a leak on the line. We used the aquascope to trace the leak and trace it to a leaking yard hydrant. And at this time, it has been repaired by the homeowner. Disassembled the old brass meters and put brass in scrap drum. Oh boy, here we go.
1 second.
Okay, we kept some decent registers that had low use. We threw out the rest, threw out the old internals. We still have the scrap. As we remove more from force, we'll put them into the drum and then check prices and sell. Made a trip to St. Mary's to buy a rug for the office and get the generator recoil repaired. Checked the heater in the pump building. It's not shutting off. I took off the cover, put it back on, it works. It was a fluke. Handed out meter install letters in force. We have about 10 or 12 to go. Removed an old 1740 turbidimeter controller from the filter panel 1. Put the wires into a junction box. They were using that old controller as a junction box. Dumped and spread a few buckets of 2B with binder on Spruce Street after complaint of road sinking, where we once made a repair. The snowplow had plowed it out, and the 2RC plowed out the 2RC that was there. We replaced it, and that will be repaved in the spring with the project.
Thank you, Kelsey. Move on to the operating report, please.
Alright, distribution flow, 6.6 million gallons. Water produced was about 6.9 million. Surface plant was 6.4 million gallons. From the well, we had 428,000 gallons. Completed and submitted DEP reports for the month of January, and the SRBC quarterly report. Completed daily lab bacterias to the lab and regulatory samples picked up. Backwashed filters, backflushed manifolds as needed. Logged my monthly data to Excel. I received a new operator's license with the addition of subclass 15, laboratory supervisor. That will give me credit for my time at the lab in Brockway. Program new meters that were installed in force. Prep new day tanks for use. Put the chlorine and PAX tanks into use. Phosphate to be used when the new phosphate is permitted. Spoke to Brian at Ease and Tracy Gerber at the El County Planning Department about easements. Cycled the well. Used a new line locator to trace service line from Ash Street to the Force Hotel. Marked the line. Check leak in customer's yard. It's on their side of the curb box. Their dig, their repair. They did repair it. Strubles was in to check the extinguishers for 2020. The keys at the plant and buildings have been, the locks have been rekeyed at the plant and the buildings. I created a key control log on Excel to keep track of who has the keys, and I stamped them and numbered them. Helped Sharon and William go through the old storage files. Explained easements to customers, got a couple signed. I marked that we had 1.5 to go. We actually got one finished tonight, so we have 1.5 to go. Explanation of that is husband and wife. The husband signed. The wife, she was in the hospital, so she hasn't signed yet, but we are working on that. That will be the last one. Went to Murray's to meet with the truck salesman. Told him we're still interested. There's a meeting on March 5th where we will know what's going on. Troubleshoot low flow issue at Elm Street. There's a house, they had very low flow when there was a ton of pressure everywhere else on that line. There are no leaks on that line. There's great flow at the meter pit. From our end, everything looks good. It's up to the homeowner to determine what the issue is.
You know, it sounds like broken gate fell in their house and they don't know it.
Something's,
That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
I can get really good pressure at the house, but the flow's not there, so something is blocking the volume.
I've seen them do that before.
Yeah, total instrument maintenance in to check flow meters, calibrate over to 0. Met with Houston Township Municipal Authority at the interconnect while they had Laurel Management in to verify meter calibration. I thought I put it. Good news for us is, so their highest flow when they draw is about 250 gallons per minute. So the calibration guy ran it at 260 gallons per minute for 1,000 gallons. It ran, I think, 996 gallons over 1,000. So or no, 976, so we're 97.6% accurate. And then he tested it at low flow, 100 gallons at 10 gallons per minute, and we were like 99.6, 99.7. So, if anything, that meter is slightly slow, but it is within spec. So that, Houston still, that confirms that they do have some leaks on their end that they have to get taken care of, but it's not a meter issue.
Technology there, it's a good meter?
Yeah, so we have a turbine meter there, and there's a 2-inch port coming out of it, so they ran a fire hose to a 2-inch meter, that's certified, and verified them against each other.
I'm sure the installation's probably in accordance with standards.
Yep.
You know, the upstream and downstream diameters.
Yeah, there's so many pipe lengths and pipe diameters downstream, they were content with that, and they're supposed to send us a report.
Question, Patrick, on your name and Dennis, what's the AE and all the numbers, what's that correspond to?
Class A is your class of license, that's basically how many thousand gallons, or how many million gallons per day your license permits you to have.
Oh, okay, I did.
So, yeah, our plant's a class C, but after having 2 years' experience, you're able to upgrade 2 classes. So I upgraded mine to class A, and E is distribution.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
The question about the went to Murray's and you're still interested that the meeting on 3/5, that's today?
Yep.
We
We don't have any, well, no, our meeting tonight, I told him our meeting is tonight, we
Oh,
don't have any
this
final
meeting,
decisions.
okay, I thought you meant meeting with.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to old business. The CDBG grant.
Now that we only have one temporary easement to go, we're gonna discuss with Tracy Gerber probably tomorrow on exactly when, we'll be able to bid out, how much notification she's gonna need. Our end is done, we have all our specs finalized, all our drawings finalized. As soon as we get all the right-of-way signed and recorded, we should be good. So we'll talk with her tomorrow, see exactly what all needs done on her end and on ours before we can bid it out through the, county commissioners.
Thank you. Moving on to the industrial appraisal. That's scheduled for next Monday too.
No, we contacted, the industrial appraisal signed it, and they're scheduled to come in Monday and Tuesday, starting at 8 AM. They'll be here for 2 days.
Phosphate.
Just discussed with, DEP on Tuesday, I believe it was. It's already gone through one review. They have no questions through that one. It's at the next review. The gentleman I talked to is not the fastest when it comes to permitting. So we're gonna kind of stay after him to get it pushed through a little quicker. But so far, there's been no questions on it.
Okay, thank you. Next one is the PA Small Water and Sewer Grant.
Still haven't heard anything on that. Like I said last meeting, we'll probably know something mid-April.
Mid-April.
Yes.
Thank you. Defiant trespass,
No update?
where there is no update.
Do we table, do we remove it?
No, we're not gonna remove it, we're gonna table it until next meeting. It depends on what happens at the supervisors meeting. So, it's tabled until, April 2020. Approval of part-time help.
I have a part-time helper helping with records because they're up so high to move them down and everything. And we do have partial of the stuff done, but it's gonna take us longer because I have not even started on the other building yet. So I'd like to retain him to keep him on for another month.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion, keep them on.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
And we are making headway in that too.
Yes, we
I
are.
checked on that, and it's slow, but we're getting it. There's a lot of stuff to go through.
Under old business, automatic gate opener,
I have a quote for automatic gate opener, not cheap. So I had Kessler Fencing come in, we walked around, we looked at the main gate, we looked at the two gates that were there. One in the back where the fencing was just cut, there's a small gate, temporary gate installed. So I had them look at that too, about putting a proper size gate. A 20-foot aluminum gate with opener, $10,500, $150.
Wow.
Yeah. A 20-foot pipe gate with opener, $9,971, $14. Not much cheaper. 10-foot man gate for the back of the plant, $1,267.50. I think that one's okay. I just had them throw that on. The fence wasn't properly ended when they put that gate in, but it does the job. Then the 4-inch man gate, $637.84. Brian and I looked at that. It should be easy enough for us to just put a taller, and Justin suggested too, just put a taller gate in that's not only 3 feet tall. This covers the entire fence.
taller gate or taller section,
Taller gate door.
gate door.
We also discussed, if somebody wants to get in, they're gonna get in, that's with anywhere. Having a expensive gate put in really wouldn't do much, cause there's no barbed wire. Someday maybe we can discuss getting barbed wire, but we'd have to replace all the posts and put barbed wire hangers on, so that also wouldn't be cheap. So, as far as the slide gate, that's a lot of money. If there was a slide gate there with an opener, obviously it would be a lot easier to close the gate, so every time we leave, we can hit the button and close it. So, security wise, it would definitely be an increase in security, but 10,000 is a lot, so I guess the board has to discuss either A, we do it, if we don't, do we start with the slide gate? Do we do it in steps, start with the slide gate, do an opener later, get more quotes, throw it out completely? I guess that's the input I'm looking for.
I think we should do further discussion on that and look at different avenues on how to
Is there any other different
put it in.
We could keep it the way it is, I just know.
There is different avenues on
It's,
doing that too.
it's not the best gate that could have been put there, it swings and you have to change the doors and, I mean, call it a factor of laziness, but we're gonna be a lot more compelled to close it if it's a slide gate, especially if it's operated, so.
Question.
Yeah,
The grant you just applied for, what is that?
that's through the county, Act 13.
Okay, the Act 13 grant, could we try for that?
Yeah,
And shoot for a grant for it?
yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, that way we're not spending money on a,
And you could look at that, the county likes to see the water authority match, so if we apply for 5,000, water authority matches the other 5, so 50,
Alright.
something like that.
something, you know?
Is that only once a year though?
You can apply twice a year, you can only be awarded once per year. So if I get awarded it, if we get awarded it this spring, I wouldn't be able to do that until next spring.
But still, even if we asked them for the 10,000, we'd still have to match that for the rest of the.
We wouldn't
gates.
have to, you can request up to 10,000, I believe. I doubt they would cover all of it, worth a shot.
Can we, if we do apply, can we then not accept it if we decide not to do it, or how does that work?
I'd say if you,
That's a stupid question.
if you get the grant and you don't use it, it might not look good.
You won't get the money, that's the deal, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
that's why it is,
If you put in for your grant, I mean,
you have
you
to
gotta do
accept
it.
it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. So we applied for the.
It may be able to qualify as one of the smaller projects through CDBG. Because Burndale is a pre-qualified area. I don't know if it will be after this upcoming census, but as of now it is. So, we
That's a
may be
good
able to
idea.
talk to Tracy and see if barbed wire and other security upgrades can be covered by it.
Good idea.
That'd
Do
be
it all.
great, yeah.
Throw the cameras and all in the mix.
Well, that was the next thing that's up is security cameras, so could that be thrown in there too?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's CD. Okay, so we don't need to talk about the cameras, or do you have the quote on the cameras?
I do have a quote, okay, yes. I did have a quote on